What's happening, people? United Central here, back with another match preview. This is a big one, people. It's, Ole versus Tuchel, Manchester United versus Chelsea. And yeah, man, it's a big one. So I had to bring, a special guest in the building. Man, listen, Christensen Army, Christensen
Yes,
FC,
bro, AC Hype. We
Christensen.
out here, you already know. Danish Beckenbauer, Danish Maldini, whatever you want to call him, don't worry, you're all getting locked up on Sunday anyways. Welcome to the
He's got it there, man. The army is there, people. Christensen, man. You know what it is? Before we start, man, do you genuinely believe that Christensen will be the next John Terry, Carvalho, you name it or whatnot? You know what I mean? Is he worth the hype?
The next John Terry is a very, very big statement, and I'm not going to put him up on any big categories already, even though I'm already calling him the Danish Maldini every night at 3 a.m. on my channel. But, I mean, the quality's there. I said technically, in my opinion, the only defender that we have that's clear of him is Thiago Silva. The only real questions that come up about him is his ability on the air, where he wins most of his aerial duels, his strength, where he looks a lot stronger on the ball than people give him credit for. The only thing that goes against him, in my opinion, is that he's a bit of a confidence player. If he has a massive howler in a game, like let's say, for example, a game on Sunday, he drops a massive howler and United score. I don't want to play him in the next match because he'll have another mistake. And it will just be a revolving cycle of that. You need to build his confidence and then maintain it so you can get the best out of him. But when you do, he's a quality defender. Like I already said in 17-18, when we were first playing him regularly, he was one of the most consistent defenders in the league up at that point. Up until the Barca game and that pass. And it's just been downhill for him since then. And then Sarri butchered his confidence some more. And it's been a bit of a return back to form for him since then. It's been a slow path, but this season, I think he's been very underestimated by Chelsea fans. Everyone's just had the Liverpool red card in their head whenever they think about Christensen.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you next. That Liverpool red card is always for me. Them kind of players, yeah. You remember moments rather than the actual ability of their play. You always remember them kind of moments. For them kind of players, that's all disrespect to Christensen, but I just feel like you remember them moments more than the actual ability of the player.
Exactly, and you're correct on that because I've said Kurt Zouma has had one of his best seasons at Chelsea, probably his best season at Chelsea. If Lo Celso had better decision-making in the final third in the 91st minute when he had that howler and put the ball straight into Tottenham's hands on a counter-attack, there'd be a lot more question marks about him. But it's moments to find the player. All Christensen's been known about until the last few weeks was the red card against Liverpool and the goal against Villa where he should have got up, apparently. And John Terry threw him under the bus on Instagram saying he should have got up. When in reality, he was injured in the 50-50 and he was out for 3 weeks. But this is the thing. Agendas will always stink. And I'm sure you'll know as well from the years of Harry Maguire propaganda and everything.
We ended that, man. We ended that. That's gone, mate. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Harry
that's gone now.
one, but that's beating a dead horse at this point, and I understand.
Yeah. We'll less of that, man. You're on the United Central, mate. We'll talk about it on your channel tomorrow. Say less of that. You get me? But
my point stands on agenda anyway. Go on, bro.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you like the video as you come in, people. And yeah, man, it's going to be a good preview. Adam, how you doing, mate? Everything all right down there, mate?
Yeah, sweet, mate. Sweet, mate. Hurtling into another weekend. Massive games this weekend. It was West Ham against City, so that's going to stop West Ham in their tracks. Then you've got Leicester against Arsenal, so don't care how that one goes. Don't like Arsenal, so Leicester can win or Arsenal can just turn up for one game and give us a better chance. And then the big one is us against Chelsea. But for me, I can't get stalemate out of my head. I just can't get stalemate out of my head. It's just going, and everything's sort of looking that way. I'm hoping that it's going to be one of them complete 180s, and it's a game that we don't expect, but it's like people have already said in the comments there, it all depends on what midfield turns up for United. Is certain players going to be fit? He's going to play Lindelof, he's going to play De Gea, and then we're going to get the same old. If I was Chelsea, I'd just stick Giroud up there just to destroy our centre-backs. If that is a game plan, then for me, it's a no-brainer. You put the goalkeeper in, who's going to come out and claim the ball, and you put your best header in the team, which is Bayer. Neither one he's going to do. So God knows what's going to happen this weekend, mate. It's crap midfield, dodgy defence, everything reliant on Bruno. Yeah, pretty much same as last week, mate.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Adam just there in a nutshell. If there was ever a preview just to say it right there, mate, it'd be right
That's
there,
it.
mate.
That's
Neck
exactly
on,
what's going to happen.
right on deck, mate. Statman, man. You know what I mean? You're the one that gives us a stat, man. Is this gonna be one of them games where it kind of, the hype, you know what I mean, before the game is probably the best bit about what Chelsea and Man United are? Or generally, are we gonna get a good game, man? Finally.
I think the last 3 times that we've gone to Stamford Bridge, we've beaten them every single time. So hopefully history repeats itself. But we know against the top 6 this year, that the traditional top 6 in the Premier League, we haven't beaten them. I think we might have scored one open play. Wait, I think the only goal that we scored was Bruno's penalty against Tottenham from memory.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna struggle, especially with Chelsea. I think they got 6 clean sheets in the last 8. The 2 goals that they have conceded since Tuchel's come over, one of them was a really good own goal, I think it was. The other one was a beauty by Minamino last week. And we know against that, like with us, we barely create any chances. If it's not Bruno, if it's not Rashford, then there's nothing going on in this team. So it will be a tough game. And if Chelsea win, I think they're 3 points behind us. And now we got AC Milan in the Europa League. We got AC Milan in the Europa League, which is going to be a tough game as well. Thursday, Sunday football. We have to play a strong team both games now.
Nice. Getting put in Christensen and Tomori's pocket. Love that.
Listen, listen. As much as you're getting gas, man, you did that against Arsenal. What happened, mate? What happened?
Yeah, and the Lampard tax, man. Like, we got to take these things into... You have your Ole tax, we have our Lampard tax. Here's what it is.
This is it, though. This right now, looking at United, looking at Chelsea right now, I can see Chelsea's fixtures. Yeah, it's Tuchel's biggest moment, and it's our pivotal moment of the season. I mean, we've got 3 Premier League games in the week away from home, starting with Chelsea, Palace, then City. I think Chelsea have got Liverpool next week. They've got Atletico Madrid in between, like us, with European football, trying to balance it. It's this next 3 weeks in the Premier League, especially. I think it's going to set the top 4 out. I think Mourinho's give up on it for Spurs. He's putting his eggs in the Europa League basket.
Yeah, definitely.
Leicester out the Europa League now is a bit of a nightmare for United and Chelsea, to be honest. They're just going to throw everything. They're going to be all in on the league now. So this I think heading into March, I think back end of March, middle of March to the back end of March, I think you're going to know. I think the top 4 is going to have set itself out, personally. I think it's going to be one of them because the Spurs ain't got any interest in it. Arsenal, Europa League, them 2 are gone. West Ham, I think, will start to drop away. And I think it'll be the same 4 as it was last season. I think Leicester, unless they can do anything different, and Chelsea have a complete collapse, but they just look a bit more solid. Like Statman said then, when you've got a solid defence and you've got the quality of midfield that Chelsea have got, then you sort of tend to feel like them goals are going to come eventually. And he is working on a system of play that's, it's not exciting to watch, but God, it's effective, isn't it? So
yeah. As much as I say Tuchel, Van Gaal, Christensen, you know what I mean? Sorry, not Christensen. You know what? I said Christensen because
he's living in everyone's heads, man. It's
all right, cool. As much as I call him Tuchel, Van Gaal, that's banter. What have you made of the Tuchel kind of the bounce that you've had? I don't really call it a bounce because I feel like, for me, I feel like it's going to stick with this group of players. They've got now a system and a style, and I feel like they look like they're ready, man. Kovacic looks like a reborn. Jorginho looks comfortable. You got like Alonso coming out of nowhere. Like, talk to me about Tuchel and what he's kind of implemented at Chelsea.
We just feel stabilized. Like, that's the one word to describe it. Like, I'm gassed, I'm happy, but I'm also not trying to take it the same way we did in November because I am looking at the run of games that we've had. It's the same teams except for Tottenham, who are worse than they were months ago. There's also the Atletico side, and Atletico are one of the best teams in the world, and I'll happily take that scout. But I know that's not final form Atletico. They've got no Carrasco, they've got no Trippier, no Vashalko. João Felix isn't anywhere near his real at 100% form because he's had to come through the virus and everything like that. So I understand that we still got to take it in moderation and everything like that. But things are looking good, and I've never questioned the squad's ability. Under Frank Lampard, maybe, but like we were playing so badly, it was making those players look that bad. But Tuchel's system, if anything, I don't think it's the final form. Like, I don't think we're going to stick with this 5 at the back formation at least until next season. I think next season we go back to 4 at the back and we're looking for something more attacking. But right now we're just trying to churn out results. We already know the quality that our team has going forward, so we're just trying to work on fixing up the defense. And yeah, players like Marcos Alonso and Kepa have come out and even look better than they have done in recent years. But the reason why is also because the teams that we've been playing, like, it's easy for Alonso to look good against a Newcastle or against a Burnley because they sit deep and they put 8-9 men behind the ball. So you need those extra forwards. So you can have Alonso come forward, drift a bit more centrally. And his link up with Timo Werner has been excellent. Werner will drop a bit further wide. Alonso will come into the middle and we'll have a bit more of an aerial threat as a result of that. Things have been working, but it's also against the teams that we've been playing. If anything, I'm looking more to this run of games. And this is where
It's a real test now. It's a real test for you now.
We've had Southampton, Atletico Madrid, you guys, Liverpool on Thursday, Everton on Monday, and then Leeds the week after that before we face Atletico Madrid again. We go through that run of games with the same results, then we're serious. But we got to wait and see. That's why I'm looking forward to this match on Sunday because it's going to open a lot of eyes.
6-pointer, though, isn't it? Like Statman says, it's 6-pointer, you know. If you win...
Yeah, we'll be on your necks if we get a result. But same way, if you lot win,
9 points clear. Yeah, it might be tough. Adam, what have you made of Chelsea, mate? You know what I mean? Lampard was out. You know what I mean? I think he lost the dressing room or whatnot. What do you make of this new Tuchel team? And it doesn't show to you that you don't need 2 years to get a style of play. You know what I mean? You've got a top coach there.
I'm not. I agree with what Louis said. Then I think this is by hook or by crook. Do what you can to get top 4 in the summer. Chelsea's going to change completely. There's no way.
Mate, you see what they say? Abramovich is saying, I'm going to give about another war chest, mate. It's getting.
There's no way. There is no way in hell. No way Alonso makes that team. It's ridiculous, mate. It's like he's getting a bunch of players together to go, right, what can I do in this short space of time to get us top 4? And then Havertz will come in. Werner will start to come in. He'll have a full pre-season with them. He'll work on them in the summer. And you can actually see how clever Tuchel is because he's gone from the easy league, French league, with all the superstars, and he's adapted his game. So he's seen his squad, he's looked at it in a short space of time, and that's why I think some of the picks has been a few eyebrows raised with him because he's literally picking his team that's going to get him through the end of this season. And then I think it'll just go completely crazy. The team will change, the system will change, and he'll work on something in the summer when he's got time with the squad. But it's I wouldn't say a breath of fresh air, but it's good to see another manager come in that you can automatically see doing work straight away. And you know what I mean? It's the style of play. You know what you're going to get, which is why I fear the stalemate this weekend. But it's good to see. It's not easy to watch, but you can appreciate it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Statman, what have you made of Tuchel? Obviously, your guy was Nagelsmann, but can you see a bit of like it's not similarities, but like can you appreciate the level of coaching that he's done at Chelsea? And it's not been there long, man. We've got a manager. Everyone's still talking about what's all his style of play. Tuchel's come in there. It's not his players. It's you know what I mean. And he's had to change around a team where they were talking about people taking Lampard out, and there was rumors of whatnot of the camp being. There's a lot of disinterest in what they're doing. You got to give it to him, man. What he's done in a space of time has been a bit remarkable.
What was it? I think he had like 1 or 2 training sessions before they played Wolves or something. And against Wolves, he straight away went to a back 3 or something. Like straight away, you could tell this guy's a proper coach. Like as you said, we don't know what we're going to do. All you're going to social coach and stuff perfect. Tuchel, listen, as much as I made fun of him at the time of the appointment because it was an argument, Tuchel still done stuff at, Borussia Dortmund. He won a trophy or something. Still did. Yeah. He got PSG to a Champions League final. That's the furthest they've got. You still have to give Tuchel a lot of credit, and we're seeing it again. Some of the selections, like you said, N'Golo Kante dropped. Who would have thought that? N'Golo Kante, people who say he's one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. But Tuchel's come in and he's been brave enough to say, Kovacic, Jorginho, you're going to play. I'm trying to play a possession-based game. So you have to give him a lot of credit.
Absolutely, man. Lewis, man, you see now we play and whatnot, and the way our style is, it's Bruno and Rashford, and if it's not that, mate, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near this game. At Chelsea, looking at it thinking, you take them 2 out of the game, you probably won this game. Is that what Tuchel will probably thinking? Like, try and isolate them 2, try and get Kovacic on Bruno. Try and give him, a rough time. And if you can stop Bruno, I'm telling you, mate, I know we don't want to give out, our hidden gems, but that's been our season so far. Rashford and Bruno, the only ones have turned up. Everyone else has been, well, not great, mate. The goals have been drying up, man, apart from the rest of them. What's the game plan for you, bro?
Here's the thing. I don't know with you guys, because United are so unpredictable as a football club, as a players, as a system, as a team. Like, I'll even say, how the hell are you man second? I don't get it. But it says it's not even as a disrespect. It's just you lot don't rate your manager. Actively don't rate your manager.
No, there's some. I think Adam's in the middle. I'm not going to speak out for Adam, but I'm one of them. I've been Ollie out for 2 years. I'm not going to hide away from it. And I mean, and I feel for me...
Mate, I was there when you dropped the bomb, mate. I remember it.
Yeah.
I was actually at the West Ham game. You were sat at home. I was at the West Ham game. I never felt so depressed in my life. That was the one when Ferdinand came up behind us and started saying, "You got to back him. You got to back him." But we were all for him. We got third last season. It's all right for progress. But my issue with Ollie is, it's like, can you bridge the gap? The expectation of Manchester United. Can you bridge the gap of Pep and Klopp? Have you got that in you? It's all right improving each season, but how long do we say this is improvement for when the next level now is challenging for the title? Can you do that?
We've seen it with Ollie. He's reached his ceiling. He's reached his ceiling.
That's what a lot of people would say, Statman. Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think a lot of people are worrying that he's probably peaked, and even bringing in better players right now might not take us to that next level.
Yeah, this is what I think you lot have a great squad, and I'm not going to speak ill of your squad, and that's half the reason why I can't really judge what to expect from United, because you lot could come in and have the stinkiest tactics possible, but then you're just one penalty or one moment of magic away from getting a goal.
The penalties, they love it. The penalties.
Bloody hell, man. We've not had a penalty in a while, man.
What do flawless calls you guys individual brilliance FC, and there isn't a perfect way to describe it. You lot get through games in certain phases, and that's why I can't underestimate Manchester United coming into this game, especially with the recent record as well. Like, I could say, you lot are scared of coming to Stamford Bridge. I could have said that 3 years ago. I can't say that now. You've come here and won 3 times on the bounce. Stamford Bridge ain't intimidating to you guys anymore. So if anything, we need to start building up that expectation for ourselves. But how we gauge Manchester United as a team, I feel like, because you lot don't need this win as much as we do, you lot could play a much more defensive system than us. And if anything, if you lot stick to 3 at the back in this game as well and try to match us, I think we could really struggle in this sort of game, because
I don't think so, man. I think it'd be the opposite,
we struggle the most against teams that play 5 at the back.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's the hardest games we've had under Thomas Tuchel. So that's why I think if you lot were to do the exact same thing, we might struggle to break you down in that instance.
That one time that Statman's going to bring up now in the last 8 when Chelsea have beaten us was when we did match you up and it failed badly in the semi-final. I think that's what I think that's why Ollie is reactional, and when he sees something like that, and that was probably our worst game. Back end of lockdown last season against Chelsea in the semi-final. I don't think he's going to go back to it. I don't think he's brave enough.
I don't think he'll learn, mate.
The last time we played the back 3 was against Leipzig. We saw what happened. We got battered by Leipzig. What were we 3-0 down in the first 20 minutes? We haven't played the back 3 since. So it would just be silly, innit? Especially
Maloch Visual says here, no one has really showed up for us at all, minus the 9 goals against Southampton, the 6 goal against Leeds. We are average. I'm surprised, Maloch Visual, you haven't come at Rashford today, man. Normally, you're going sick at Rashford, so maybe you are kind of easing off Rashford. But what I believe
is the thing, though, because your form has been in the middle. Like, it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been great either.
Yeah.
But with us, like, even with Tuchel, our play in the final third still hasn't been good enough. So it could just be a question of
it's all about eye test, though. If you believe what we have done through stats and what we have, where we are in the league, you probably think it's a good season. But when you add in the Champions League loss when we were out the Carabao Cup and the kind of, for me, football style we've been playing,
this is it.
That's my problem.
Mate, this is what you're saying, because you'll listen to these pundits on the radio all day and they'll come out and say, what are these United fans? Look at where they are in the league. On paper, it looks like a worldie of a comeback season.
There you go, then.
But only the fans who go every week, who see everything every single week. It's like last night, Robbie Savage was trying to tell me that Fred's had a great season. I'm like, Robbie, I understand you've got to watch so many other teams and punditry. You can't concentrate on one team, but it just shows what they know. They'll look at stats. They'll look at form, the table. They'll say, oh, you're just one win away from being in the last 16 in the Champions League and then being top of the league in the Premier League. What you're all moaning for. But when you sit there and you see the likes of 2 players carrying us through a season, then you understand where the complaints are coming from. Because it is literally, without Bruno, we're down with Mourinho and Arteta. It's as simple as that. Without that man, we are done. There's no other way you can look at it. And you can say it's brutal, you can say it's to the point, but 22 goals this season from midfield, come on. Without him and his assists and everything he's brought to the team, then we'd be absolutely nowhere. I don't think Ole would be in a job. That's how I think. That's how I see it. I don't think he would be.
Statman, let me ask you this question, man. You know what I mean? Tactically, man. You know what I mean? What can Ole do to be brave, man? Top 6 games, we've not been brave, man. Yes, the 2 chances against Liverpool. People said if we take them chances, it's a win and we go away happy. But when you looked at the game for large parts, it was very, very boring. It didn't look like we really want to win the game. How can Ole be brave in this kind of setup? Obviously, certain players are out, certain players out of form, but how can he be brave against Tuchel? You know,
I don't think he can be brave. Let's be honest there. Look, we've got Cavani out, potentially. We got Donny van der Beek potentially out. We got Pogba definitely out. So who's he really going to switch in terms of personnel? Like the double pivot is still going to be Nemanja Matic and Fred. Or even just say McTominay's fit, Fred and McTominay, which still we know we're going to struggle. On the right hand side, I think that's probably the only bit where he can be brave. He plays Mason, he's brave. He plays Daniel James to stop the Marcus Alonso overlap and stuff. Then I think he's not going to be brave, and that's what I think he will do. I think Daniel James will start on the right hand side against Chelsea, which I think will be a problem because we know like people have criticised Mason, but I think in the last couple of games Mason's done decent.
Yep, I think he has.
Agreed.
And I think Dan James, what was it the other day? Was it yesterday or something? Yeah, yesterday he struggled a bit. So that's why.
What about you?
You seen there? You just talked about defensively there, and you seen how naive he was. He could have spun that cup tie on his head with that stupid tackle that gave the penalty away.
Yeah,
but absolutely. I think our biggest issue is obviously the form of Martial, and that's what we've lost this season. Dan James probably warrants a place ahead of him right now. That's how bad he's playing, and that's horrible to say. But I think the fact that Rashford and Bruno are doing it alone, it shows how bad Martial's been and where his confidence has been hit. Because without Martial, we hadn't had that extra factor. We've just not had that extra man to take the pressure off. And Greenwood can't carry it as a young kid. It's too much pressure. There's too much pressure. But like Statman said then, the way he's looked after the ball in his last few games, he won't get credit for. He won't get the credit for. I think being brave is playing Greenwood through the middle. That's how I think being brave is.
That would be a fair shout, man.
Listen,
you know what? I think that's he's got a point there. You know, that would be brave because I feel like Martial, as much as I rate him or whatnot,
better on the wing.
We can't afford to carry a player who's not in form. And I know, listen, Martial's a top player, but maybe going Mason Greenwood and say, you know what, son, go for it, man. You know what I mean? Maybe, but then again, Adam, if you haven't got the ball, is Mason Greenwood, you know what I mean, a better option than Martial when you haven't got the ball?
This is what I mean. You've got to start building your team around the player, haven't you? You start playing to Bruno's capabilities, then you see a different team. But like Statman said then, the perfect point, with that midfield holding, it slows the game down too much and it takes Bruno out of it, and that's where we are going to struggle. That midfield will destroy us this weekend. Also being brave, it's not being brave, it's being sensible to me by playing Bailly and Henderson. I just think it's a no-brainer. But
let me ask you, Lewis, man, you know what I mean? In terms of the game, Lewis, what is your game plan for Tuchel? You know what I mean? To kind of nullify Man United, the way we play. What do you reckon Tuchel's going to do? And who do you think's the danger? What we should look out for in terms of Chelsea, kind of for you guys?
I'm trying to think if we make much changes to the team that played against Atletico, and to be honest, I don't think we will. I think the back three will stay exactly the same, especially the news that Silva isn't going to be ready for the United game anyway.
Thank God for that.
You say that, bro. Martial, Greenwood, whoever you put out is still getting put under lockdown courtesy of the
This
18th
guy, man.
penitentiary, and you already know how it's going to run. But yes, the back three will stay the same. Callum Hudson-Odoi,
Come
I
on, clip
think.
this.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much because someone will clip it. But
Yeah.
Callum Hudson-Odoi probably plays at right wing back, only because I do think you guys are going to be more defensively minded anyway.
Mm.
I do think we'd have to worry about you guys in the counter attack though, which is why I wouldn't be totally against a Reece James starting, but he hasn't started enough games.
I think the only reason I say
Reece James ain't coming off an injury either, so I could see that, but it's just it makes a lot more questions for the final third. And when it comes to that, it's just who starts in there, because the back, if anything, it's the front eight that all make themselves. The back five will stay the same, in my opinion, because Chilwell would have started the game by now. He didn't start the Southampton game or the Atletico game, so I got no reason to think he starts the United game either. Jorginho and Kovacic play in the middle as well because their understanding of each other is just clear of any other midfield two than we have. And then it's just the front three. And I just don't know if Giroud gets benched, especially after the impact that he had against Atletico Madrid. I don't know if we bench him as a result of that. I don't want to see Tammy start. Tammy Abraham's growing slowly. Let's just let him grow slowly. We don't need to throw him into a game like
he's about 24, mate. What do you mean grow slowly?
Yeah. This is slower than you think when it comes to Tammy Abraham. Like, he ain't adapting as quickly as we want him to, but it is what it is. It's just the front three, and Hudson-Odoi has to make the squad regardless. So if we play Reece James at right wing back, it will probably be Hudson-Odoi at right wing. And if that's the case, maybe we could go Giroud in the middle and Timo Werner on the left. And I think that's what our team would be. But that's if Reece James gets put into the lineup.
I think
but
you will,
even if you do that, you miss Mason Mount as well, which creates even more questions because Mount doesn't usually get dropped either. And seeing as he's now out at the Atletico Madrid match, it means we can afford to use him all we want until then because we don't need to worry about resting him for game. And Mason Mount don't care about rest anyway. Like, the guy just wants to play. If we're being real,
a bit like Bruno. He wants to play all the time with Rashford. Before you come in, Statman, let me just read a super chat. If the manager ain't brave enough to play,
it's highlighted in yellow for stupid comment of the night.
Yeah, if the manager ain't brave enough, the players ain't brave enough. I've supported Rashford since he came on to the club 5 years ago, but later we should look for a better player that can play on the left. I think Billy Visual. I thought I was gonna say he's not gonna come with no Rashford slander, but I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like Rashford more than Billy Visuals. Every time, man, he's on it, man. He's like, get him out. I don't like him.
He's supping the same. He's supping the same tea as Ricky.
Yeah, man. Maybe it's a Ricky Burner account. You never know. Stat, what was you going to say there? Sorry.
On Reece James, the only reason I think Reece James will start because he's better defensively than Callum Hudson-Odoi. And our left-hand side, if you actually look at our average position, we're so imbalanced down the left-hand side. Our left-hand side is the only side that we actually attack with. And Luke Shaw, brilliant form. Rashford, he's going to be a threat. And obviously, you got Azpilicueta, who's probably playing right centre-back, innit?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's just going to go a bit more defensive in that area. Because the thing is, I say defensive. Reece James is still brilliant going forwards. He's still a quality fullback.
Yeah.
So
people just question whether he passes sideways too much, but I still think he can be a great wing back. It's just maybe he needs to adjust a bit more. Like, we don't have to expect they'll assimilate that quickly, but it doesn't mean you just throw him out and just say he's washed in one position and banging in the other. He can do both.
And another thing about Reece James, Rashford's record against Tuchel is brilliant. He just scores against Tuchel for some reason. So clearly, Tuchel's going to
Chelsea in general.
Yeah, Chelsea. He's good against Chelsea, to be honest. He loves Chelsea.
But the only reason I said Tuchel is because Tuchel's going to be the one making the decision, kind of thing, innit? And he knows Rashford's a threat, so that's why I think he will go with Reece James.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not really confident about this game, you know. I'll be honest with you. You know why, man? I just look at the level of football we're playing, and I feel like we're just going into a game where I don't know what we're gonna get, man. And when I know what we're not gonna get, Adam, man, I feel pessimistic. I feel like it's gonna be a 0-0 all over it again,
mate. We've sat here. How many times have we sat here before games this season and we've looked at the team and we've gone, what is going on? And then I'm looking at it going, do you know what? Maybe the opposition are looking at us going, what the? And then they can't figure us out and we end up winning the game, mate. This is what it is. You just have no idea. It's no idea what we're going to turn out and play like. I mean, we could have the West Brom game where we have nearly 80% of the ball and not get anywhere near the goal. And then we could just have games where all of a sudden we look like we're completely dead and we're 4-0 up. We are so weird to predict, mate. It's because we're unpredictable, I think, is why we are where we are in the league. And we've got one of the best midfielders in the world at the moment, and that carries you. I mean, I thought Chelsea did this when they had Hazard. You've got a player like Hazard who can pull you out of anything with his brilliance. I just think, I believe that I don't think this squad, I don't think these players are good enough are on Bruno's wavelength, mate. That's how I see it. I just don't think they're on the wavelength of Bruno Fernandes.
But you're saying that, yeah, Bruno Fernandes against the top 6 has struggled. I don't think he's got an open play goal contribution against the top 6 in the Premier League. So
I know.
So you could argue.
And then this is
charity FC here, so I'm not saying too much.
Yeah, well, you got to look at. I mean, it's like again, innit? It's like you can look at that stat and go, well, yeah, why are we only turning up against the top 6 like we did last season, but not against the crap? All of a sudden, this is important because Bruno's not scoring in these games. Do you know what I mean? He was massively involved against Leicester, but no one's counting Leicester because they're not a so-called top 6 team. You know what I mean?
Let's get that in.
So this is it's traditional top 6. What is traditional top 6? Are you counting them 2 piles of crap down there mid-table in Spurs and Arsenal as traditional top 6?
Who?
I mean, come on. This is, you know what I mean? This is what people would say. They build up a whole agenda against the certain players. It's ridiculous, mate. Some of our fan base are absolutely crazy with what they say. They don't appreciate what we've actually got. I just don't think this team is good enough all around, and they're not on the same wavelength as someone like Bruno. I mean, how long is Bruno going to hang around if no ambition is shown? And then we'll see everyone moaning. Do you know what I mean? So if Pogba leaves and then another player on his wavelength is gone, then you're struggling then, aren't you? That's it. Then it's solely reliant on Bruno Fernandes because we're not going to bring anyone in good enough. So I just say, look, you've got to appreciate what's there, and I just don't think the rest of the team can do it. I don't, unless you coach them properly and you set up a style of play. And like you said, Said, many a times, I've not agreed with it all the time, but the freestyle, we've only got certain players who can do that. If you coach a team, then there's a style of play, and then you've got a better chance. But at the moment, these players, it's just, you can't figure it out. It just looks like they don't do anything on the training ground except fitness drills. That's what it looks like, mate. So that's my major concern.
It comes out to set up, Statman, isn't it? It comes out to set up. The likes of our players. Listen, they're good enough, man. But is the actual, setup and what we do and how Ollie sets up the team, you know what I mean, a representation of the football we're playing, man?
Just touching on Bruno beforehand, yeah. The reason Bruno struggles against the top 6 as well, because look who we play in the midfield. Fred and McTominay normally. Fred and Mike probably on Sunday. They're not unbelievable ball progressors. So every single time Bruno does get it just seems like he forces it every single time because he knows he barely gets the ball against the top 6. Like we see when we play the easier teams, he gets something like 70, 80 touches of the ball. Against the top 6, it goes down to like 50 and stuff. Like we struggle against the top 6 in general. And I think, wait, what was your question again?
Is Ollie's kind of negative tactics or negative kind of approach, you know what I mean, a representation of the football we play, you know what I mean, and lack of why, like Mason Greenwood and these kind of flair players are not getting into games and not being, pop on the right hand side, the double pivot of McTominay, Lindelof, instead of with a Bayou could push up further up the pitch, you're looking at how they play. The Zuma and much of Zuma and all them players, Rudiger, they push out, don't they, Lewis? They push out, they're quick, they can go out the pitch and they can move forward. They're not just sitting back because they've got 2 slow defenders with them. You know what I mean, bro?
I think against the top 6, I've always said this.
On the ball now as well. Yeah, go on, man.
Against the top 6, we know since we lost that game 6-1 against Tottenham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of he goes to a defensive approach straight away. Since he played that Pogba Matic double pivot against Tottenham, where we got destroyed, let's be honest, he's never done it again. How many times has Pogba played in the double pivot since that game against the top 6? I think it was against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and that's it. He's literally gone to negative tactics straight away. So we know we're just going to do the same thing as Sunday. Like it's like I won't be surprised if we play a back 5. Like that just says it all.
Absolutely, Lewis, man. What's your kind of overall feeling about this game? You know what I mean, in terms of Chelsea, man? Are they gonna be ready for this? Are the fans ready? How what I mean? Let me know how your overall feeling is kind of going into the game, man. Massive game, it's a 6-pointer, How do you wanna see the players approach it? What kind of mentality do you want to see going into this game? Because Man United they're a good team, but in terms of football and ability wise, in terms of having a system and a plan, we're not there yet. We're not there. We look for moments, and if you can have them moments and you give us them moments, we will take them, mate. We will.
Yeah, I'm quietly confident about this game. It's only quietly because I still low-key expect some sort of BS or some sort of charity FC BS to turn around in this sort of game because it's happened to us before. So I don't want to come here and be overly optimistic, but we should be going into this game with confidence. Like, we just beaten Atletico Madrid. We haven't beaten a top 6 side. Well, other than Spurs, we hadn't beaten a top 6 side the whole season. Now we've gone and beaten one of the best teams in the world. Now it's time to be confident and feel like you're one of those sorts of teams. It's about developing the confidence in the entire squad as a whole. And they should all be confident now, and they should have just a glimpse of what they're capable of as a side. Because we can all admit, in my opinion, Chelsea are one of the best squads in the league. And the only thing that was holding us from becoming title contenders was a system. We need a system that works and gets the best out of these players. We didn't have that until Tuchel joined. And now the players are confident, the players are understanding the system, they understand the roles within the system, and they're going and getting results in winnable games now. And now we've had the Atletico Madrid result as well, which is a big result regardless of Atletico's form because they didn't make it easy for us for the most part. We needed a moment of magic to get through that game. Otherwise, that game was just screaming 0-0. No one would have scored in that game regardless. But that also shows how good our defense has been. We've only had two mistakes as a defense since then. And only one was a complete system failure, and that was Minamino's goal. The Rashford own goal against Sheffield United, just a howler. It is what it is. Like, you can't really account for something like that. Now, Rudiger's performance afterwards was still amazing, and he didn't let it get to his head. So everything's saying confidence. Just play with that sort of confidence, and I do think you can get a result because Manchester United, to an extent, are there for the taking, and it's only to an extent. I don't think it's going to be we muller Manchester United or we smack them around for 90 minutes. There's nothing like that. It's going to be a tight game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this. It's really and truly all that matters is the final third play. And I can't speak on the final third play because even then that hasn't really been saying too much under Tuchel. And that's nothing to do with the manager. We haven't been clinical for about 4 or 5 years on the bounce. So that's just something that we need to coach out these players.
Well, you see,
that will come in. Gone.
I was going to say, you see your final third play. Do you think that's just you just don't have the quality to a player that can find that pass? Because I think Mason Mount has created the most big chances for you, which is, I think, around 6 or something.
Here's the thing. Mason Mount's big chances, I like him, but it's also you got to take it into context because a lot of those come from corners.
Yeah.
And for a long period of that, our most regular type of goal that we were scoring was a Mason Mount corner to Kurt Zuma's head. So, same way, I don't want to speak ill of Mason Mount because he's been one of our players of the season.
I think you prepared well, though, this game because you played a stubborn Atletico and you'll probably play a stubborn, Man United who will keep me compact. Maybe this is probably the best game for Chelsea rather than a better game for Man United who can't break down teams. You know what I mean? So
but only because it's I say that and I echo that, but since Tuchel's joined, we've only faced these sorts of teams and Sheffield United, Southampton. They're the only anomalies in that. Other than that, every team we played has been very similar in the fact that they've played a defensive mindset. They put the majority of the players behind the ball, and it's been about us trying to break them down. At the start, our final ball was horrendous, and to an extent, still ain't really that great, but it's improved. Kovacic was infuriating in the Burnley game because his final ball just reeked. But the first 5-6 games since then, he's been excellent. Jorginho's output has just improved tenfold since Tuchel's joined. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's been more the attackers and our finishing in general. Timo Werner still had chances that he could have and should have put away. Tammy Abraham has just been Tammy Abraham. Olivier Giroud, if anything, has struggled with the play around him. I've always said, Olivier Giroud is a class player if you play to his strengths, but there's deficiencies in his game too. He's 34 years old. He's not going to be perfect, but you know what he can bring to you in a game. You know what he can't bring to you in a game. Hudson-Odoi as well. If anything, I think with him, he's been excellent. But if you want to improve his end product a bit more, you got to play him off the left. So when he cuts inside onto his stronger right foot, and you can get a much stronger and a much more confident output in him. So it's little things with a lot of these players. Hakim Ziyech as well isn't fresh. He's played the equivalent of 11 or 12 first team matches since this time last year. He hasn't got any sharpness about him. Pulisic just looks scared of getting injured, to be honest. And for this season, I don't care too much. I don't want him to play a lot of minutes this season. I just want him to stop getting injured first of all, and we can move on from there. Once he starts getting more confident in his body, maybe next season we try and incorporate him more into the squad. But I think he's been handled poorly this season. He came into the squad, came out again with an injury in the warm-up against Burnley. He didn't come back into the squad again until Christmas, and I was just screaming, do not overplay this guy. Play him like half an hour every week if you want to. Just don't overplay him. And Lampard played him the entire Christmas period, didn't rest him and started him in every single match, and he got injured again. So I don't really know what to make of that. But with every player that we've had in the final third, it's just little things that are just holding them back. I'm not worried either. It's just, I know it's going to come. It's just, the sooner the better, innit? Like, we've been so poor in the final third for so long.
You know what you're all saying now? It's all just rooted for a Chelsea kind of, for it to just piece together, you know what I mean? And that's probably what Tuchel is missing right now. But I'm going to go to the best part of the show, you know what I mean? I'm going to give you guys the combined 11, you know what I mean? Let's get stuck into this, man, because I feel like this is going to be a bit of a crazy one. I remember I did this last time with you, Lewis, and I think it was straightforward. Man United a few players ahead of you.
Yeah, now I'm outnumbered. I see what you're trying to do to me, but here we are.
Yeah. No. We're fair on this channel. You know, we're fair. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's start. What do you want to go with, by the way? 4 minute form. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go form.
Yeah, form. How many games should we go by? Should we go by?
I say since Tuchel's come over.
Okay, that's fine then.
Oh, shit, man. That's not going to make it easier.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do that. I think that's a bit fair. Yeah. Okay, then keeper wise,
it's got to be Mendy then.
I'd have to say Mendy anyway.
Yeah. I know Mendy because De Gea's dropped clangers. Henderson hasn't played enough, so you've got to say a goalkeeper who's played more games and has got one of the best clean sheet records in the league, I think. So
I think he's got one of the highest save percentages as well, but I need to confirm that one.
Okay.
We can't. I think it's a no-brainer.
68%, which is very decent.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay. Right then. Right back. This is interesting.
What formation are we playing?
Saka's big quality. Sorry.
What formation are we playing, mate?
4-3-3. That's the most easiest.
4-3-3.
Yeah, 4-3-3.
You've got plenty of attacking there, so I'd go with Wan-Bissaka just for a defensive factor because I don't think the defense is the best part about this team. So I'd actually put a defender in there who can defend. I think the forwards and the midfield that we pick are going to have more than enough going forward.
Saying that, I don't think.
What's your case for Reece James? No,
I don't think Wan-Bissaka is brilliant.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, like, nothing against him as a defensive player. I think he's amazing. Going forward, he's improved. I still don't think he's there yet, but he is improving. I can give him his props where it's due. But Reece James has improved tenfold this season. The only reason why it's a bit quieter now is because he had an injury midway through December, got rushed back by Lampard, and it's just been poor performances when he's been rushed back. The Leicester game, shouldn't have played. The Arsenal game, shouldn't have played that one either. But he got thrown into those ones, and because they're more high-profile games, it's made
they both have 2 assists. You know what I mean? Someone says there.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Have been so disrespected the entire 2020 because they've gone to Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner and Pulisic, and it's just we waste. His delivery is ridiculous. I swear down, but we just put it to all the wrong players.
I still think I know we're outnumbering you, Lewis, here, but I think Wan-Bissaka deserves a shot. I've not seen enough of Reece James to kind of for me.
You give me right back. I'm not even going to debate left back. You can have it.
I think that was the easiest one out of all. Exactly. I know. That's a cop-out right there.
I want them all, mate. I want them all, man.
I can be shameless and say Marcus.
I think we have the full-backs. You can have the centre-backs.
Nah, Bailly gets it.
So what you want to say?
No,
Wait,
but
so
Bailly's hardly played. That's the problem. I don't know if you can add Bailly.
If you're judging it off Tuchel's time in the Premier League, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, I say James speaks for itself. Like, I don't mind giving you left back.
All right then. You know what?
Yeah, I
we'll
think
give
with
him
the
Reece
Reece
James.
James
We'll
thing,
give him
yeah,
Reece
it's
James.
the only reason I'm a bit hesitant on Reece James is kind of like him and Callum Hudson-Odoi have kind of alternated on that role. Wan-Bissaka's he has been playing consistent.
Yeah. We'll give him. We'll give him. Reece James then, you can have him.
All right, cool.
Right, you can have him. So you got Reece James, Luke Shaw. Okay, centre backs. I don't think we can. I don't know. Can we make a case for Lindelof? Don't know.
No.
After his
No,
mistakes
can't
against
really.
West Brom.
After
Nah.
nah.
I let my Avi speak for itself if we're speaking on form.
Okay then. So you go Christensen and then who?
It has to be. It has to be.
And
If
who?
anything, I put Rudiger in there too, but I don't mind you if you got a name to put in there as well.
We have it. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what
to
do you
you,
think
we
of
have it, man.
Azpilicueta? I know he's
All
not
three
really
of
a
them.
centre back because I
All
actually rate
three of them.
Azpilicueta.
Yeah, like Azpilicueta, if anything, it's shown that the whole problem with Azpilicueta over the last 2 seasons has been just trying to incorporate him back into that right back role from a right centre back role.
Yeah.
He was starting to get better at it. Like 1920, he was one of our players this season, all because of his slow progression. He started the season poorly, just kept getting better and better to the point where he was one of our most vital players.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't leave him quiet on this one either.
Sorry to cut you off there. People were going off form. I think everybody, we know that, but you know what I mean? Apart from that run of form he had where he played like 5 games in a row, he would have been on there. But Bailly has hardly been playing.
2 clean sheets against Sociedad.
Well, if that's on form, then I think we'll be here all day. So we're gonna go with. What's the keeper called again? Mendy. What? James, Rudiger, Christensen, Shaw. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Happy with that.
This is where it gets interesting now.
We're
Because
barely getting any plays in then. Because the midfield,
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
be honest, we're not getting
and I'm gonna lie to
other
you,
than Bruno.
the midfield.
No, Saeed absolutely screwed us by saying since Tuchel's been in. He's
No,
absolutely
it's not my sense. I didn't say that.
I'm going with what you guys say. It's your channel, and I don't want to take over. It's up to you, man.
Okay. I would play it on form, people, man. Form, you know what I mean? We're not doing it. Right, this is where it gets interesting, right? Because Fred, has he been on form or has he just been drifting away?
No, Fred's not been on form.
Let's be honest, in the last couple of games, Scott McTominay, when he was fit, was outperforming Fred.
Yeah.
So
you
no,
probably
I'm
have
with
to
you
go-
on. I'm with Statman on that one. I don't think Fred's been good enough.
Mason Mount has to be there as well, though. Mason
Mount, Bruno, Kovacic,
Bruno.
someone saying here.
Yeah,
Mount has to be in there.
I wouldn't go away from Kovacic, Mount, and Bruno too far.
Yeah.
I wouldn't veer too far from that.
Neither,
You agree with
if
that,
anything,
Lewis?
to me, it's a Mount or Jorginho question for me because we could say
Okay.
Mount. I could just as easily. I would rather say Kovacic, Jorginho. I'll be real with you. Like Mount
Okay.
has been
You
quality
could have
as
your
well.
pick, mate, because we're not.
Bruno gets in, and I'm not even going to try to take
Bruno
that,
gets
bro.
in, yeah. Bruno gets in.
Yeah,
You know
it
what
is what
I'm
it
saying?
is.
Okay, then
Wait,
that
so you
was
don't
done
rate
out
Mason
fairly
Mount
done
at
easy,
all?
yeah.
No. I rate Mason Mount. It's just Kovacic and Jorginho have also been so good since Tuchel's joined, and they've also been so good together. So I think they come as a package, in my opinion. So if you can't leave one without the other. Kovacic and Kante played together against Southampton. They both look good individually, but as a 2-man midfield, there's no chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough. By the way, we've got 500 people watching, man. Please smash a like on the video, man, and make sure you go check out these channels. I will be mentioning at the end of the video, but make sure you go check out their videos as well. Right, front three now. Can we
I go-
confirm one position?
Rashford on the left,
Yeah, Rashford on the left.
and then
For me,
you
Hudson-Odoi just has to get in.
I
Hudson-Odoi.
think
All
I
right.
think Hudson-Odoi on the right, and then go with striker in the middle.
Wait, Giroud.
Who's
yeah.
playing well? Which striker has any team got on good form apart from what
Cavani,
Giroud's done
guys,
recently?
Have you been watching Man United lately, man? I don't understand this,
maybe
guys. It's
Werner-
on form. Form, people, form, man.
I think maybe
Sorry,
Werner
Mo.
gets in as the striker. Based on recent form as well, because he hasn't been bad the last few weeks either. Giroud, I
Yeah,
could
Werner.
say, but realistically, I'm saying Giroud because of the overhead kick. I'm not really saying it because of the overall performances.
Okay, that's fair enough.
No,
So,
The only
well enough.
guarantee is Hudson-Odoi has to be in the lineup, in my opinion. Other than that, I think everything's
okay then.
okay.
Hudson-Odoi and Giroud then can have that. And Rashford on the left.
People
you got-
You
be
wanna
saying
go Giroud
Cavani.
over
Cavani's
Werner?
a doubt for the game.
You can have whatever, mate. We're not gonna have a striker, are we? Someone says
I think Mason
Rashford.
deserves a shot.
Sure, yeah.
I think
I'd
Mason
love to
recently
put
has been
Timo
decent.
Werner in there. A lot of people are mocking it, but they're looking too much at Timo Werner in the December period. Like the last few games, he's been decent for us. He really has.
Yeah.
He's won
That's
2 man
true.
of the match on the bounce for us too.
That's
But
true.
you know
That's true.
about Timo Werner? You know he's missed 13 big chances this season, which is the second most in the league behind Patrick Bamford.
Not surprised. Like I already knew before Werner was joining us, we weren't getting a prolific striker.
What
It's
about
just
Dan James? Guys, anyone Dan James?
I swear he's been good for you the last 2 or 3 games. to
You
be
know
fair.
what? As much as
But
I
it
know
wasn't
people
great
say
against Real
that, but
Sociedad the other day. Or yesterday.
Yeah, he had a good game. He
Southampton got a goal.
played
Yeah.
all right. Played well against Newcastle. Did okay in the first leg
reaching
against
it a bit?
Sociedad.
I thought he was brilliant that game.
Then he was crap against Sociedad last night, wasn't he? So
All right, then we'll leave it as that. Then we'll leave it as
I have to push my Mason Greenwood agenda. Like, I think Mason deserves to be in it. Because recently he has been decent. You can't deny it.
where did you
might
play
not
him, on
be
the right or in the middle?
Like Hudson-Odoi is the only one I'm holding on to. Like if you've got a case
Giroud
of
can
Greenwood,
sit
I don't mind
bench.
hearing it.
I want to play Mason.
Yeah, fair enough then. Right, give me just before we kind of get our predictions in. Lewis, give me your starting lineup for the game against Man United.
I'll go Mendy in goal. Back three stays the
I'll just come
same.
back at it.
What was? Oh, right, he's disappeared. Okay, so I'm gonna go Mendy in goal, Danish Maldini in the middle with Rudiger and Azpilicueta on either side. Reece James right wing back. Yeah, especially after this conversation, I prefer that one a bit more. And we'll go. Alonso. I hope you don't have another howler. I'm so worried when he plays, but yeah, Alonso goes at left wing back. Jovic in the middle. Werner on the left. Hudson-Odoi on the right and Giroud in the middle. It leaves Mason Mount on the bench, but do you even rest a Mason Mount though? Because he's so key to our play off the ball. This is why the final third is so sticky. Like,
I think Mason Mount will start over Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right hand side.
You bench Hudson-Odoi.
I think you will.
You know what? Yes, yeah, cool. Yeah, it makes sense. If we think the one Tuchel goes for, I don't think he gets benched. So yeah, we'll go for Mason Mount, Timo Werner, and Olivier Giroud in the middle.
Because I think Callum Hudson-Odoi played around 80 minutes the other day, innit?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, so he could
maybe.
Get
yeah.
Adam, give me your team, mate.
Henderson in goal, Bay, Maguire, Bazaka Shaw for the back. Then that midfield, innit? It's what's available for us. Going off what we know are definitely going to be available. I mean, I know Pogba's training. I know McTominay's training, but I still don't think we're going to see any of them. So, unfortunately, my hands are tied. It's Fred and Matic. I'm hoping I'm going to get a surprise in that department, but I don't see it. Then you're looking at Bruno behind Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford. But I feel like Dan James is probably going to play instead of. No, because like I said before, taking a risk will be playing Greenwood up front. I don't think he'll play Greenwood up front. So either plays Rashford there, puts Martial out on the left, which I don't see him doing. Then he plays Dan James on the right. I don't know. I just feel like Dan James is going to play.
Yeah, he will.
I don't know what it is. I think he's going to play, and it'll be for Mason Greenwood. Unfortunately, again, I don't agree, but we're being realistic here. I think that's what Ollie will do.
Statman, give me your one, mate.
I think what Ollie will do will be De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Matic if McTominay's not fit. If McTominay's fit, then he starts. Fred, Dan James, Bruno, Rashford, Martial.
Yeah.
And
same,
give me your prediction. Give me your scoreline because I'm gonna go with a 0-0.
0-0.
Yeah, I'm going 0-0,
I
mate.
went with. I'm gonna go with the 2-1.
2-1 United. Statman. I mean, Adam.
I'm going to go 1-1 in this game.
Lewis.
This could be a big week for the predictor.
Yeah. Lewis. Got back your team, mate.
1-0 Chelsea. I'm just trying to think how many goals by, but yeah, it's a tight one. So I'm going 1-0
1-0 Chelsea.
We're just keeping everyone updated with the predictor league. Yeah, last week everyone got the result right, but no one got the correct scoreline. So we're all on 1 point right now.
Yeah. Let me know, people, your predictions, man. 0-0. Anna says 1-1. 0-0, 1-1. 1-0 Chelsea. 1-0 Chelsea. 0-0. Yeah, it's all 0-0s, mate. 1-0, 1-1. 0-0, best shout. Being the trend to win games. Absolutely. But guys, that's been your preview for the game against Chelsea. You know what I mean? I've been your host, Saeed, United Central here. Shout out to everybody in the building. Carefree Lewis, but where can they find you, people? You know what I'm saying? Shout out, where can I find you?
Yeah, guys, Carefree Lewis G on Twitter, Carefree Lewis G on YouTube, Blues Fans TV as well. Check us out 3 a.m. on Twitter every day for your daily Andreas Christensen. And we'll see you guys on Sunday, hopefully with a W for the Blues. Thanks for having me on, man. Much appreciated.
Anytime, man. Adam, man, let them know where they find you, man. You've revamped the channel, man. Let them know, people.
Yeah, Adam Matic. Basically, if you put Adam Matic in anywhere, you probably find me on all socials. Instagram, Adam Matic31. YouTube, Adam Matic TV. Adam Matic on Twitter. Go for it.
Yeah, man. And Statman Bays on Instagram, yeah?
Instagram, Twitter. And Lewis, you need to teach me how you do that Christensen picture. I need Mason Greenwood on that.
Yeah, I'll show you off camera. Yeah, easy.
All right, man. But yeah, man, guys, people, I will be on Carefree Lewis tomorrow at 3 o'clock, yeah?
Yep, 3 o'clock, my guy.
Yeah, man, 3 o'clock. Go check it out tomorrow. Me, Carefree Lewis, on his channel. Make sure you guys support him and show the level of support you've been on here, this channel as well, people. But I've been your host, United Central. This has been the Manchester United versus Chelsea preview. And I think it's going to be a 0-0 all over it, mate. But guys, like the video, subscribe to United Central, and we'll be back for the match reaction. It's going to be a big one, people.